Good afternoon. Well, my afternoon could be your evening, could be your morning. Welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. As you can see, I woke up not very long ago, so I've still got the and there goes my phone beep beep telling me I'm live. What do you know? Anyway, welcome. A bit of a conversation today. I don't know how long I will be going. And if you can't handle me saying then go now, because I'm here to tell you I do it a lot when I'm this tired. So anyhow, I will try not to. Excuse me. So today's topic of discussion is, hey Amy, welcome. And it looks like Christopher had said something, I had said something, and then Drew was in here. So, ouch, and there goes the chairs. They squeak. Everything squeaks right now. Anyway, let's see. Oh, so topics for today have been about some things that have come up in the last few weeks regarding ufology, regarding NASA, regarding shadow government, and all that jazz. So, but before we get into and delve into that, I'm going to do a little promo, which is why I'm fixing my table here so that I can get into the right position to do this. Okay, the first one that I want to promote is, there we go. It's called BioNutrition Advanced Berberine. It is an excellent product. Hard to come by, but it is an excellent product. Look up berberine. I've used it off and on since the early 90s. Really good product. Well, not this specific. I haven't used this specific product for that long, but I have used berberine for that long. Another one is this brand. This is a brand that I actually do not have any health problems with. It's called Host Defense Mushrooms. My Community 17 species blend of different mushrooms. And mushrooms are incredibly good for the health. And there are studies that have been done in the last number of years regarding Alzheimer's patients, specifically regarding lion's mane mushroom. Turkey tail is the big C word. So check out various types of mushrooms regarding health. Look into it. I'm no medical doctor by any stretch of the imagination. Always, always, always do your own research. Ask questions of professionals, whether they're a naturopath, whether they're a Chinese medicine doctor, whether they are acupuncturist or herbalist, professional herbalist. Check it out. Check out these products. Check out the subject matters that I'm talking about. So here we go again. I'm going to put this up, take a screenshot so that you have the name. And I know for me it's coming up backwards, so for you it should come up facing forwards properly. And the other one was berberine or berberine. So there is that. The last one, okay, now I'm going to toss those onto my couch for the moment. The last one that I want to promote. Hey, Drew, welcome. Is acupuncture is pretty interesting. I've gone through it. Yeah, so have I. They saved my health in a lot of ways. And just an FYI, if you're a psychic or a medium or an energy worker, excuse me, if you have acupuncture on your back, you can open up meridians in your body, and wow, you can get a high, an energy rush high right after you've had acupuncture, especially if you're already in tune. But it can open up the flow of that energy even more. Woo! I've had a couple of what the old-fashioned lapalulus, as my family would have called them. Anyway, so just an FYI, yeah, acupuncture is really, really good. Oh God. I'm not repeating that one, Drew. Here's the other product. It's made by Premium Nutrition. Welcome to whoever's just come on. It's the other product that I'm going to promote is made by Premium Nutrition. And Premium Nutrition, I really like them. They are a quality company. I mean, like high quality company, big time. Small company, but with these guys will not put out a product unless the ingredients are true quality. That is a big freaking deal. So it's not about the money to them. It's about putting out quality product. So anyway, so they're based out of Washington State here. I believe Mount Lake Terrace. That font is so tiny I can barely even. Yeah, Mount Lake Terrace, Washington. So the brand is called Premium Nutrition. And this one, and I use a number of their different products because they've got a wide range of products. They make a great quality calcium, a great quality magnesium in the right formulations, I might add. That's a really big deal. And I've used their products since 1990. Let's see, my son was 1993 or 1994, or 1995. 93, 94, 95, somewhere around there. Long time. Will not use anybody else's magnesium or calcium or vitamin C for that matter. They're that good. They were expensive back then and they're expensive now, but they are worth their weight in gold. I mean, just quality. Anyway, so the Premium Nutrition, this one is called Think Again. If you have a hard time thinking, like I do once in a while, these are really good for the brain. Really, really good. Anyway, I buy premium brand products through a company called Healthy Away Nutrition in Linwood, Washington. They are a great nutrition store, very, very knowledgeable. And they have a website. I just look up healthywaynutrition.com. And a lot of their products that they sell are on the website. Anyway, give them a call. That's my end of my little spiel about vitamins and supplements and all of that. So, anyhow, but 10, 11 minutes into that, and that's what we're, well, no, 9 minutes into that. So, topic of conversation. Topic of conversation being, I need my phone for this because this is, whoops, don't hit the computer. It's kind of a big deal. The number of things that have popped up. NASA did a very lengthy panel discussion about Arrow. And it was supposed to be about what they were presenting and all of the, it was, some people said that they were disappointed. I was pissed. They weren't ready for, this is my opinion, they were not ready. They should not have been doing this until they were freaking ready to actually present stuff. It was like sitting and watching a damn board meeting. Oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and oh, here's the next presenter, and they're gonna talk about that, and then they talk about whatever. But I'm here to tell you, it was incredibly frustrating, maddening. It was like watching a stupid board meeting. Yeah, boring as shit. Somebody on the other side just said boring. And I went, yeah, boring as shit. So, that was my take on the NASA stuff. Do better, NASA. Do better, Arrow. I know NASA technically isn't part of the government. They're their own thing, but that was pathetic. I mean, truly, in my opinion, it was freaking pathetic. Do better. You're supposed to be scientists. Do better. Regarding the issue, the vast issue of a subject that came up, whistleblower. There have been a number of whistleblowers that have popped up in the last, I don't know, couple of months, but the last week there was a major one. Let's see if I can find. Oh yes, and there goes the stomach growling at me. David Grusch, I believe, was the gentleman's name. Talked about different things with a reporter called, I believe, hey Robert. Yeah, Robert says NASA nearly always sucking ass. Yeah. There are a lot of things regarding David Grusch that he talked about. I believe it was Ross Coulthart. Coulthart? Anyway, I never pronounce his last name right. Anytime I've tried, I've never pronounced it. So please excuse mispronunciation of a name. A lot of folks, when you go back and you listen to a lot of different social media regarding that interview, it was about a 48 to 50 minute video that NewsNation put out, presented by NewsNation. Mr. Coulthart was reporting for NewsNation. The fact that this guy did come out, a lot of people bitched about it because they were talking about how he didn't know information. It was all secondhand told to him. I have posted, and interestingly enough, So, okay, I need to finish the statement. I did post on my Facebook page, my private Facebook page, did it publicly, I did it privately, and I did it to where it was on my psychic medium page as well on Facebook. The original link. And 10 hours later, they shut it down. NewsNation shut it down. Now, I'm assuming, this is a huge assumption on my part, that was because of all the copyright infringements that they had on it. I mean, like big time copyright. And wow, it was massive. People were going hog wild over it. And so what they finally did, they left up a video that's like 11 minutes, 19 seconds, or somewhere along those lines. It's an 11-minute video. That one is still running, not live, but that one is still running. Oh, good grief. Knock it off, stomach. You've been fed. You've had all your stuff. Quit bitching at me. Sorry, my stomach's rumbling and it's very loud and it's driving me nuts. So, like I said, 3 hours of sleep. You can see it in my eyes. I have brushed my hair, although it sure as hell doesn't look like it. Anyway, so please excuse the little annoyances at myself. I'm not usually like that. So give it a listen. It is something to pay attention to because there are different whistleblowers coming out. That is important. Whistleblowers coming out and talking at risk to themselves in whatever measure that may be, whatever the risk may be, give it a listen. I don't know, I haven't decided yet if I will post the link in the description box below or if I will post it in the comment section. I'll probably post it in the comment section under this video after this is done being live. And I'll probably put it in one of the file folders that I've got on my playlist of videos, like I do with a lot of things. Because even though everybody else talks about, oh, he didn't say anything, in some ways he really did. Depends on how you look at it. Everybody's got a different viewpoint on it. I have a different viewpoint than a lot of other people. And yesterday I was ripped a new asshole for stating my opinion rather publicly. And that didn't go over well at all. As some of my really close friends know, I had a really major reaction to it because I was absolutely fucking appalled by the attitude that was shown to me. I was actually horrified. And which is why I've had 3 hours of sleep. I was extremely upset last night. Extremely upset. We hit trigger points that I haven't hit in years. So anyway, watch the NewsNation 11-minute video, Ross Coulthart interviewing David Grusch, the whistleblower. Whether his credentials check out or not, whether or not he had firsthand knowledge, pay attention to what the hell's going on with this stuff. It is important in the long run, especially when there's a lot of documented evidence showing up from different or documented and provable in where people were located at the time, whether they were military, whether they were working for a company. I cannot think of the name of the company. I apologize. And I've even taken my B12. I'm not. I should be taking this stuff, but I have to do one of these capsules I have to do one of those in thirds because it affects my brain personally. It affects one of these capsules affects my brain in such a way to where I can only do 1/3 of a capsule at a time. Anyway, so here's the name of it again. It's called Think Again. Anyway, check out the Ross Coulthart, David Grusch, David Grusch interview. Look into it. Do your own research. I always advocate for doing your own research. It is crucial that you do. Don't just go blindly. Don't just believe blindly. Look. And that's something that, oddly enough, that's something my mom taught me. One of the things that she always taught me was ask questions. Even of me, Nikki, always ask questions. And whoever just came in and went back out, thank you for showing up. Hope you come by again. I hope you are able to see this interview. Oh, yeah, that worked out well. This video, anyway, and I know there's a delay. There's usually like a 15 to 20-second delay on these things because I've timed them myself. Anyway, so welcome whoever's back. But go and watch the interview. Watch the NASA thing, even though it was shit, in my opinion. It is part and parcel to what is taking place. Watch the different, not NASA, what the hell are they called? I did this last night and I can't remember the name of it now. The different intelligence committees, the judicial intelligence committees with Congress. Keep an eye on that kind of stuff and what is going on regarding ufology, regarding what the government is, what the U.S. government is doing regarding certain things and what they're not doing. Pay attention to questions that are not being asked, that are important questions, that are going by the wayside that shouldn't be. That's important. That's really important. What's also really important is the bullshit cover-up that's going on. That's been going on for 80 fucking years. And yes, I am using the F word a lot tonight. And for those that are offended by it, I do apologize. But it definitely gets across the anger and the stupidity and ridiculousness of the fact that all of it's been hidden. Now, I'm going to delve into a subject that was discussed last night that caused issues. Yes, Drew says they're deflecting truth and responsibility, and you better frickin' believe that's exactly what they're doing. Okay, so let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here. Excuse me one moment while I'm looking down at my phone. S, looking for S. There you are. Okay. So, I am not, and I'm going to publicly state this, I've stated it in writing many different times. Yeah, be like Elsa, let fucks flow. Yeah. I've stated this many different times. I am not a fan of Stephen Greer. And there are many reasons for that. One of the big reasons was originally he was a quality person. He started out as a quality individual. Then he turned into a money grab. Everything became about this is my personal opinion. You can't come after me for my own personal effing opinion. I mean, but I am stating it publicly. I believe he turned into a money grab individual. I'm not going to use the word that I used privately on my Facebook page. I'm not one of those people that has thousands or hundreds upon hundreds of Facebook friends, because I don't do that. I keep my list small for a very good reason. One that I'm not going into right now. But anyway, this individual has gone for money grabs. And if you ask him to come on to a show, it has been publicly stated by a number of different individuals that how much you going to pay him and what are the questions in advance. And that's bullshit. And what I've learned over the course of a great deal of time is that if you want to interview him, you're not going to get anything unless you either pay him or unless you provide all of your questions ahead of time. And no, the guy does not have, he's never, as far as I know, he's never once talked about having a neurological disability to where he needs that as an ADA issue. So it's just very frustrating. To me, that's greed. And it's not just frustrating, it's very maddening. It's a lot of money to attend like a lot of money. Look into it. You will be shocked and horrified. His stuff. Now, that all said, I do appreciate the fact, and in all fairness, the fact that he has put together or helped put together individuals over the course of 30 years to bring about certain things. Was it part of a money grab? Yeah, in a major way. In a major way. $50 billion worth is what they were talking about on this 3 hour and 1 second video that he did on Monday of this past week. I believe that was the 12th or the 13th. Don't remember which. I just know that it was Monday, June 12th or 13th of this week. So look into it. Listen to the certain individuals that came forward to talk. Their information can be validated at credential wise. Their information can be validated, and that's a big deal. Validating somebody's credentials and where they were in a location especially if they're military. 12th. Thank you, Robert. Monday was the 13th. I was in California. Robert says the 12th. Okay, so depending upon what part of the world you live in, or the 12th or 13th. So depending upon what part of the world you live in, it was either the 12th or the 13th. Anyway, so do your due diligence about things. That includes credentials of individuals who come forward. As an ET abductee, I can't prove any of my stuff, which is why I take pictures of when I have marks on my body after I've been returned home after an ET abduction. It's the only way I can prove anything. I can prove who I am, where I've lived, what kind of things have taken place, that kind of stuff. I can prove my own personal credentials that way. With individuals who are professional or who are military, their credentials can be validated by the military if the military so chooses to do that. And via reports, actually military reports that in many cases can be obtained. From what I know from different people who have told me so that that are retired military, that are like, oh yeah, that's easily obtained. That's an easy fact finder. Easy fact finder mission is how it's been labeled to me or stated to me. Anyway, so credentials, that's a really big deal for somebody who's military. There were 3 individuals who were military who can state, this is where I was, this is how it was validated. That kind of stuff is important. It's really freaking important, especially when they're making claims as a witness of witnessing different things. Now, granted, there are high security things that they may not be able to prove because they're classified a specific way in the military. So that would be very difficult to prove. I understand that. That was yelled at me last night, and I understand that. What I don't understand is the attitude of discounting over 700 people who have come forward, who are credentialed, or however many of them are credentialed, where it's provable as to who they are, what they did, where they were, or where they were stationed. And why they were there, at whatever it was that they were doing. I take real issue with if those individuals' lives were threatened. Being threatened with death or having your family members threatened with death is very traumatic, and it can cause PTSD and a lot of issues where the person may not have had PTSD before, but because they witnessed something, they end up with PTSD. All of that was discounted. And when you have individuals who have been threatened with death, who have been threatened in numerous ways, and if they have family where they were told their family was at risk of death, that's a big deal. I take real fucking hardcore issue with that, with discounting somebody's experience where they have had their life or their family's lives threatened with death. That is unacceptable to me, and I call bullshit behavior on that attitude. And I did last night, and I got nailed for it. Hardcore. Sorry, my eye's starting to get itchy. Which is not normal. Anyway, so it's because I get upset over this. Tulip Fields, Mount Vernon, Washington. Somebody's art. I never remember the name of the artist. April of a couple of years ago. Anyway, pretty mug. So I do take big issue with people that are deniers or discount that kind of seriousness, especially when you've got hundreds of people and there are no real ways, based on what I have been informed of by not just one person, but a number of people who have their own credentials in very specific ways. One of them now dead because of their own job with the government, and who had credentials up the wazoo, who told me information that, government has very specific ways of killing people. And some of it's sanctioned and some of it's not. And the stuff that's not, that's what I take issue with. I take real, hardcore, serious issue. It's one thing to have a government that has an oversight, has different aspects of oversight. It's another where free range killing takes place. That's a different ballgame altogether. Yeah. Okay, Drew said the 13th is Tuesday. So, okay, so it was the 12th. Amy says one of the ways they kill is by causing a heart attack from the clear blue. Yeah. There are numerous different methods that I was specifically told about by this individual that I knew. They told me very specific ways that the CIA kills people. There were things that I was told, and there were some that actually really shocked me. And there was others that didn't surprise me one bit. And there are ways, and I was informed there are ways that the shadow government kills. And yeah. But I take real issue when it comes to individuals being murdered because they have information, they have knowledge, they're a witness to something, and they're being murdered for it because they have that knowledge. Or unexpected knowledge. I mean, I take real issue with that. Look at what's happened to a lot of the, hey, Hollow is here. Free range people, slaughterhouse chicken wings. Wait, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I know you're being a smartass and I love you, but yeah, I get it. Anyway, so it's just I take real giant fucking issue with this. And to discount that is absolutely unconscionable in my mind. Um, and I, you know, can validate that my friend was murdered. Um, I can actually prove it, but I'm not going to prove it to anyone. Um, Hollow says, no, that is happening. Yeah, I do understand where you're coming from on that. But I'm not going to prove it. Um, I'm not. If uh, it would get me dead, actually, if I did. Um, I was told very explicitly by many people with very high credentials to keep my mouth shut for very good reason. And there's a lot of it I have kept my mouth shut. There are some things that I won't, but there are a lot of things that I really will keep my mouth shut on. And that's for my own safety and for the safety of my family, um, and people I consider loved ones. Um, so I get it. Uh, I understand it, but it really fucking pisses me off that, and regarding the algorithms, I don't give a shit today. I do, but I don't. Because I've been saying the F word a lot today. So anyway, um, so do your research. Look into these individuals that was talked about on Stephen Greer's information. He does give that's what I wanted to show, or not show, but talk about. Um, and one second. Excuse me. Don't think you need to hear me burp. Um, okay, so one of the points that Greer made was illegal uh, operation bases regarding UFO/UAP. Um, as they put it, locations and corporations based on intelligence from over 700 Disclosure Project military and corporate whistleblowers. Um, yeah, that was kind of a big freaking deal. Um, now I'm just there were 100. He gave a list of 146. I am going to read some of this. Um, Air Force Office of Special Investigations, AFOSI, Air Force Plant 42, Palmdale, California, Air Force Weapons Laboratory, Kirkland, Area 51, Groom Lake, Area S4, AT&T. That one had me curious. Avon Park Air Force Range, Florida. This font is really small, guys. I'm going to see if I can figure out this, and I'm blowing it up as far as I can on my phone. Azores Islands, Portugal, La Jolla Field, U.S. Air Force. Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. Battelle Memorial Institute, or Duttell. I can't tell if that's a B or a D. Beale Air Force Base, Sacramento, California. Bechtel Corporation, BECH. It's either LEL or TEL, Corp. Underneath that is Bell Labs, New Jersey. Yes, Amy says probably because AT&T has Defense Department contracts. Bell Labs, New Jersey. Berkeley University, California. Blackjack Control, southwest of Area 51. Boeing Phantom Works. Booz or Boz, Allen and Hamilton Incorporated. Brooks Air Force Base, Texas. Buckley Space Force Base. C. Martin the letter C. C. Martin Company. Camp Perry, Williamsburg, Virginia. Carawell Air Force Base, Fort Worth, Texas. China Lake Naval Weapons Station, California. CIA headquarters. CIA slash, I think that's 160th near Nashville, Tennessee. It's either 160, 180, or 100th. I can't tell. The numbers are wonky, but it says near Nashville, Tennessee. Council on Foreign Relations, Coyote Canyon Test Site, north end of Manzano. Crane, Indiana. Just says Crane. Then you have DARPA. Next one is DIA. Next one is Dugway Proving Grounds outside Provo, Utah. Dulce, New Mexico. E-Systems. Eagle's Nest, aka Air Force. T period O period C period. I don't know what TOC stands for. Edwards North Base Complex, Rosamond, California. EG&G. Next one is EG&G Terminal Building, Harry Reid International Airport. Eglin Air Force Base, Florida. FBI headquarters. Ford, Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, Fort Chaffee Maneuver Training Center. FT period Smith, comma AR. I don't know what that is. Fort Hood Army Base, Texas. Fort, oh my God, I don't know if I can pronounce this one. It's Arizona. Fort Haracha? Hachurka? Oh my God. Anyway, sorry for the mispronunciation. Hey, Chris. Fort Smith, Arkansas. Yes, thank you. Thank you, dear. Yes, that. I've seen those initials before, Chris. And welcome to the chat, by the way. Welcome to the thing. But yes, Bechtel. They're a contract service integrator. Yes. So I'm going down the list right now, Chris, since I don't know when you came in. This is the list that they obtained over the last 30 years of where different things are located, different aspects of shadow government, different aspects of brain fart, sorry. Where things are located regarding either ET bodies, regarding ships, ET ships that have been downed or were downed for whatever reason, and that they've reverse engineered. These are where different, there are a lot of different locations, but we'll get into just now, he said. Okay. That's how you pronounce. Oh, Huachuca. Oh, thank you, Huachuca. Okay. Kind of like a sneeze. Yes, Huachuca. Okay. Um, okay. So the next one is Fort Irwin. After that is Fort Jackson, South Carolina Army Base. Fort Knox, Kentucky. Fort Polk. Fort Sill near Lawton, Oklahoma. Fort uh, Monmouth, New Jersey, General Motors, George Air Force Base in California, Goddard Space Flight Center, Maryland, Grand Fork Air Force Base, North Dakota, Guggenheim Foundation Laboratory, based out of New York, Hangar 1 Moffett Field, Mountain View, California, Hancom Air Force Base, Massachusetts. I hope I pronounced that correctly because that doesn't look right. Massachusetts, Haystack Butte, Montana, HIT, all caps, HITT, and then it says construction. Next one after that, Holloman Air Force Base, New Mexico, Homestead Air Force Base, Homestead, Florida. Oh, God. Here's another one. It's out of Louisiana. It's an Air Force Base, and Huma Air Force Base out of Louisiana. Anyway, Hughes Aircraft Company is the next one after that. Hunter, we're at 65. Hunter Liggett Military Res, Mojave Desert, California. Irvine, California. ITT is the next one after that. James F. Hanley Federal Building, Syracuse, New York. Jason Society? I think it says society or SOCIATY. It's either an A or an E. The next one after that is John Hopkins Hospital, Baltimore, Maryland. Kelly Air Force Base, Texas. Kirkland Air Force Base. Langley Air Force Base, Virginia. Lawrence Livermore Labs, California. Lewis McChord Air Force Base, McChord, Washington State, where I live. Lockheed Martin, including Denver Res CTR, I'm assuming that's center. Lockheed Martin Hendale Plant. Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, Palmdale, California. Lookout Mountain Air Force Station, Los Angeles. Los Alamos National Labs. Lucerne, Switzerland. Lucerne, Switzerland. CERN, capital CERN, CERN. Luke Air Force Base, MacDill Air Force Base, Tampa, Florida. Manzano Mountain Weapon Storage Facility, Marshall Space Flight Center, Alabama. Masonic Temple, York, Wright. RITE, right. Maxwell Air Force Base, Alabama. McLean Air Force Base, Sacramento, California. McDonnell Douglas Liano Plant. Miramar Naval Base, MIT, Cambridge, Massachusetts. MITRE Corp. NASA Headquarters, NASA Amos Research Center, Mountain View, California. NASA Johnson Space Center, Houston, Texas. Naval Air Station, New Brunswick, Maine. Naval Station, Great Lakes, North Chicago, Illinois. Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. We're quite a ways done. We're at 99. Nevada Test Site. Okay, and I'm being told to look up. Amy, Hanscom Air Force Base, they were the original headquarters of the Space Test Project. They moved it to Kirkland Air Force Base later. Good to know. Thank you, Amy. Chris, this is half the DoD. Laughing, yeah. Hollow, the UFO projects have been made public over the years. This is vital for the average citizens. Yes, thank you. That is my point. That is why this is so important. Thank you, Hollow. I appreciate that. Andrew, Gnomes Trucking Express, CERN. Yep. Andrew, Navy Boot Camp, Great Lakes. Yep. Okay, so Nevada, 99, Nevada Test Site, 100, NORAD, North American Rockwell, North Ant Hill, it's literally in quotes, Ant Hill Tejon Ranch, Tejon Ranch. Northrop Grumman, Northrop Grumman, North Air Force Base, San Bernardino, California. NRO, National Reconnaissance Office, NSA, National Security Agency, Oak Ridge National Laboratory, Tennessee. Oh my God. OFFUTT, OFFUTT, Air Force Base, Nebraska. Orgun, ORGUN -E, Delta Company. Padang, Indonesia. Paut Mesa and Area 19. And I know I didn't say that correctly. I apologize to those. And welcome to whoever else came in. I appreciate you coming in. This is a list of the things that Stephen Greer talked about, and we're going to be discussing some of this, not all of it, but some more of it. But what I wanted to do is go down the list and verbalize all of them instead of just show them on the stupid screen. I'll read that in a minute, Amy. Andrew. Okay. Paut Mesa and Area 19. Oh my God. Passe, Paase, or Paseo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Paso, Air National Guard Base, New Hampshire. Pentagon Lower Basement Vault. Pine Bush, New York. Pine Gap. Pratt and Whitney. Pueblo Army Depot, Colorado. Rand Corp. Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. Rickenbacker Air National Guard Base, Ohio. Rockefeller University. SAIC, SAIC, all caps. Science Applications International Incorporated. Sandia National Laboratories, SNL. Oh no, that's too funny. Sandia National Laboratories, SNL. Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. Scottish Rite Masonic Temple. Found that one absolutely fascinating. Secret Star Wars T.O.C. located at Cantonment. Cantonment. Next one, Seoul, Korea. Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Next one is all caps. SHAPE, Shape Headquarters. South Pole Base, Sperry Rand Corporation. Stanford University, Stewart Air Force Base, Newburgh, New York. We're almost done. Tabletop Mountain Observatory, NASA. The Vault, quote unquote, The Vault, NAS, North Island, San Diego, California. My dad told me of that one. My dad was retired Air Force. Wasn't in Air Force for very long, but apparently he found out some information. Anyway, and he was free to talk about it. So he talked about it. Let's see, I said that. The Vault, NAS, North Island, San Diego, California. Okay, next one is Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma. Next one, Tonopah Test Range, Travis Air Force Base, California. I don't know what this next one is. TRW. It says nothing. Hello to whoever came in and is listening. I'm almost done with this list. We're going to go on from here. Village Supercomputing, Phoenix, Arizona. Pardon me. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to try hard not to laugh over this name. Wackenhut. 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 I almost thought it said something else, which is why I wanted to start laughing. Anyway, Wackenhut Corporation. Next one, Walter Reed Hospital, Washington, D.C., White Sands Complex, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, Ohio, and the last one on the list is a floating platform near Ford Island, Hawaii. There is a different list. The list that goes with the list that I just read talks about everything that is at each of those sites. Everything that they've got on each of those sites. That's a big deal. Okay, so let's see. What have I missed? Navy boot. Okay, Drew. Navy boot camp is Great Lakes. Drew. My old man was even stationed at Edwards Air Force Base. All he could say was he was there. Amy. Nevada test site is owned by the Department of Energy. The current contract integrator. I know I didn't say that right. The current contract integrator that runs the site on their behalf is Mission Support and Test Services, LLC, a $5 billion contract over 10 years. Hollow. It could be even better. Yeah. Hollow. Is it? Dun 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 dun. Yeah, no kidding. Drew. Tejon. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate that. Tejon Ranch in California. Got to drive right by there to get to Bakersfield, also known as the Grapevine I-5. Yes, it is. I've been through there. I didn't even realize that, but I've been through there with my mom. Hollow, do your research, my friends. Yes, definitely do your research. This is a big frickin' deal. Drew. Beale Air grief. Beale Air Force Base, home of the SR-71. Yes, actually it is, if I remember right. Amy, TRW has been around for over 100 years. They have built numerous satellites and had dozens of DoD contracts. FYI, if you don't already know, DoD is Department of Defense. Drew. Wackenhut has a security company. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate that info. Drew, it's no secret. Wright-Patterson is home of the Roswell crash debris. Well, let's go back. Wright-Patterson. Okay, hang on. I got to go through the list again. Right, the last one. So number 145. Let's go in and find out what they say. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, Ohio, well known as a depository for recovered ET bodies, debris, and craft. Walter Reed Hospital, number 143, Walter Reed Hospital, Washington, D.C. Location of an alleged autopsy of an ET in the early 1950s may still have documents, photos, and x-rays on file. Number 131, South Pole Raytheon. Neutrino light communications and weapons array and communications UFOs in space. Number 129, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, alleged location of UFO research operations and at least one ET craft. Seoul, Korea, secret mountain facility storing ARV and DUMB. These are all caps. ARV, which is human, which they are classifying and terming as human. I don't remember what the term ARV stands for at this very second, but ARV is the human-made what appear to look like ET craft ships. And supposedly the U.S. government has many of those. I do not remember what the word DUMB stands for in all caps. It stands for something very specific. But it says DUMB with ET craft. Number 124, Sandia National Laboratories, SNL, Defense Nuclear Agency. Let's see if we can find a couple more of these interesting little. Number 35, Edwards North Base Complex, Rosamond, California, location of classified aircraft, flying saucers in old hangars. Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, believed to be a depository of ET bodies. Site C, classified radar site that monitors 70% of what goes on in space. Their sign reads, quote, "We monitor all space activity, terrestrial and extraterrestrial, from planet Earth." That was interesting. This list, I mean, there's quite a lot on this list, and then there's no information as well. I mean, regarding some of the ones. Number 2 on the list, Air Force Plant 42, Palmdale, California. Location of manufacturing facility for major classified aerospace programs. Lockheed Martin, Northrop, and Boeing all have facilities here. In addition, there have been reports of, quote, black contact lens shape, end quote, shaped craft operating out of this location. Area 51, Groom Lake, aka Air Force Flight Test Center, Detachment 3, both manned and unmanned classified aircraft have been reported in this facility. Additional reports, disc-shaped craft hovering off the ground inside hangars, have also been reported. Number 21, Camp Perry, Williamsburg, Virginia. Secret CIA training school for ET. The letters are so mangled. Visitation, I think, might be the word. Secret CIA training school for ET visitation. Area called, quote unquote, the farm, end quote. G story structure, or could be the number 6. 6-story structure with 4 stories underground, housing a lab, cryogenic storage facility, vehicle recovery, etc. Drives me nuts when they put etc. on there. I want to know the frickin' list. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say on that. And the money grab, but yet they do make some good points in here. Congressional recommendations: Congress to immediately pass a $50 billion bill to support research and development and application of 0 point and related, quote unquote, free energy systems requiring open source disclosure. That I agree with. I agree with making free energy systems requiring open source disclosure. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Let's see. I have missed a lot of comments, so let me go up. Let's see. Amy says DARPA is also tied to right wing. DARPA is also tied to Wright Patterson. Yep. And Drew, I know that Grapevine. I know that Grapevine because I first smoked my breaks 20 years ago coming down Grapevine. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's a big fucking. It's a big hill. I remember that hill. Amy, Raytheon is the contractor for Antarctica, obviously. Amy, I know someone that was there under Raytheon. She would not say one word about the specifics of why they were there. Amy, deep underground military base. Drew, Lieutenant Colonel Maury Rosenberg buzzed the SAC Metro Tower in 82-83 in an SR-71. Full afterburner. I heard that story. He was a major in the Air Force back then. Drew, Beale Air Force Base is named after. Okay. I just lost my train. There, where'd you go? Force Base is named after a highly decorated officer that served under Dwight D. Eisenhower during World War II. Howdy, Chris. Howdy, Hollow. Hollow, this will all push to recession. Yeah. Drew, it's in the high desert in California. Hollow, the Great Depression was 12%. The next is guessed at 30%. Hopefully wrong. Yeah, they're the things that they're talking about is if all this shit that they're putting out there goes through, it's expected to be really bad. Even my friend who's now deceased, I can't say that, but the one that's now deceased, in the well, we weren't even in the teens. It was before the teens of the 2000s. He told me about it. He told me about what was coming. I mean, the government knew then. They frickin' knew then. He told me about it. He told me what they were planning on doing. Although I'd forgotten about quite a bit of it, and then different things start popping up, and I'm like, oh my God, that's right. He told me about that, and he told me about this. And AI better not rule the world. I'm here to tell you. I'll piss a lot of people off. So they recommend, the second one is they recommend congressional recommendations, amnesty provisions for 6 to 12 months for all whistleblowers, executives, government personnel, and corporations, provided full and complete disclosures are made. After amnesty period, individuals and corporations, both private and government, will be rigorously prosecuted. 6 to 12 months. That's ridiculous. Needs to be longer. Because that's not, in a lot of ways, with the way the world works and the way government works, that's not long enough to deal with certain things. 3, Congress to convene open hearings with whistleblowers and evidence. Yeah, I agree with that. Congress to pass legislation to explicitly protect personal safety, pensions, and private assets of whistleblowers. Now, I agree with that because there are many times where where the government openly has gone after individuals. And this is what also creates the threat factor. Yeah, Amy, I'll go back to pencil and paper before I let AI tell me what to do. Right the frick on, girl. Oh my God, right on. Anyhow, so this is a really big deal. Okay, my minutes on my live are not right, and I've been going for an hour and 18 minutes. So somebody, make sure you can still hear me. Obviously, it looks like I being heard, but definitely let me know in chat, please. Something's going on. I don't know. It says 0:17 and it should be 1 hour and 17. So I don't know what the hell's going on with YouTube. Anyhow, and it would really suck if I have to do all this over again. I don't know if I will, if I had to. Anyhow, the last one says Congress to pass legislation to explicitly protect. Okay, we did that one already. So that's really important. I mean, government can wipe out. Yeah, that's not good. They're talking about AI in the chat at the moment. Anyway, what they've wiped out people's, within 24 hours, everything was taken away. I mean, they've left people homeless. They've left them penniless in a matter of 24 hours. That's a really big deal, guys. Really, really big deal. I've got, okay, speaking of a big deal, I've got missing time on this video. It literally says 0:19 minutes, 30 seconds. And yet I've been live since 4 o'clock. So, and it's now 5:21. So, really bizarre to me. Anyway, just please let me know that you can actually hear me. and are not just witnessing me talk and you can't hear me. Yeah, 1954 mark. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Which makes me wonder what the hell is going on with YouTube, because I know it's not my internet this time. Unlike yesterday. That was a nightmare. So there are things that I do agree with regarding how this is. I'm not sure about how it's being done. I'm not sure I agree with how that's happening, but I do agree with a number of factors of this. Yeah, Hollow, I've got some questions for you, but I'm not going to say that publicly. Anyhow, okay, here's what the attorney had to say. Their project's attorney. Yeah, laugh it up. Laugh it up, fuzzboy. You should remember that one because we watched it so many damn times. Star Wars, technically the third one. It was our first one though. Anyway, so this is what the attorney talked about. I love you. Cry now. Yeah, see, I thought that would get you. Love you. Okay, crimes committed by illegal, covert UFO-related projects. Disclosure Project witnesses and gathered intelligence has established the following major crimes. And no, I can't say that. Treason against the United States, murder, mass murder, torture, kidnapping and abduction, embezzlement of government funds, embezzlement of private funds, bank fraud, money laundering, illegal surveillance, insubordination and insurrection against the United States, false imprisonment, witness and whistleblower intimidation, theft of intellectual property, trespassing, burglary, framing of innocent people, government corruption, blackmail, bribery, illegal use of government and military property, and many more. Yeah, a lot frickin' more. Are you kidding me? Yeah, which is funny. No, which is funny, Drew, because I saw that recently. Don't forget that movie, Robot, with Will Smith. Yep. Anyway. ISG has technology. No, this is different. ISG has a different list. ISG has technology from reverse engineering ET craft that has the capability to be a serious threat to them via quantum entanglement. At least 119 ET craft have been downed near or over Earth. EM scalar weapons can potentially reach beyond our solar system. Yes, they can. These rogue ISG operations pose a threat to both ET and human civilizations. That's an understatement. There's an imminent risk that these ISG rogue operations could cross a red line, requiring an ET response to protect innocent life elsewhere and on Earth. Okay, now they're going to talk about the threat narrative. Well, and see, that's the thing, Amy. Okay, so Amy says that list sounds like a recruiting ad for shadow government black ops. Want to be all want to have all these fun illegal things, sign your life away here. Yeah, I mean, this is what bothers me is the murderers. There's a lot that bothers me about this. But the murdering people, the how they're making their money, how certain things are being done, the reversing on some level, for me personally, in my personal opinion, some of the reverse engineering of ET tech does not bother me. But yet, at the same time, it bothers me because how much of it is not done by oversight by our government. That is concerning. And to have free range to do what they want and to obtain trillions. Now, that is my take on it based on what I have read over the years, what I have gotten my hands on in reading different things, different government, even different military personnel have talked about. That's concerning. Trillions of dollars being used at their fingertips, and a lot of it coming from government, U.S. government funding, some of it even from Congress itself, and jacking up our deficit. That I take great issue with. And every American should take great issue with that, because jacking up the deficit via that method, wow, really bad. Really, really bad. Yeah. As Amy said, no oversight basically allows the shadow government to operate as if there were its own nation. They can operate without any sense of rule of law. That is my point exactly. That's Amy's point. That's my point as well. I mean, I knew you'd get it. Hollow, I knew you would get it. That's exactly what I was thinking. Anyway, I'm not commenting on that one publicly. Anyway, that'll show up 12 hours later in the public chat. I'm not worried about it. So, but anyway, yeah, Amy's exactly right. They can operate without any sense of rule of law, and which is why they're getting away with murder, which is why they're being allowed free range to do whatever the F they want. And it's not just in the United States, it's global. Think about that. They could go into any country. They could sell weapons to other countries. They could sell drugs to drug lords. There's so many freaking possibilities. It's endless. And that should frighten every adult, not just on this planet, but every American adult who votes. We're talking voters here, people. I've not gone public about politics, not in the grand scheme of things, but this would make me do it. This is a really big deal, folks. This is why I say pay attention. This shit should piss you off. Don't go with a blind eye and go, oh, I've just got my life. I've got to do this. And oh, yeah, I'm political on this. And oh, yeah, I'm religious on that. Excuse me. Free range to do whatever they freaking want. That shit's got to stop. And the crimes that are going on need to be accounted for. There are things that need to be taken care of, and that's one of them. And any crimes against humanity, those bastards need to go to The Hague to be tried for crimes against humanity. I mean, hardcore shit. Consequences. They need hardcore consequences. And there should be some kind of, I do agree that there should be some kind of global thing to where we all come together, all the nations come together regarding that kind of technology. One government against another government. Oh my God. Regarding that kind of tech, it's no longer, we're at an age now in our lives. I'm 55 years old. We're at an age and a timeline on this planet to where technology is making a major difference. Major difference. Look at what's happening with AI. The ability that we could be doing and having, and they're right about the free energy. They're right about that. There are so many aspects to this that not just make sense, but could help global economies, could mass produce food, energy, medical without the kind of greed. Basically, what you're dealing with is no oversight on greed. You've already got it going on with numerous different industries, whether it's energy industry, whether it's pharmaceutical industry, whether it's mass food industry. There are numerous aspects to this. This could go on. I mean, we need to become a smarter world. Quit dumbing down yourselves. Start using critical thinking. Those of us that are in the Gen X category, the younger ones, those who are younger, get your head out of the frickin' sand. Pay attention to what is going on. This is going to be your world when you're my age. This is a big deal, folks. 30 more years of this could be extremely detrimental. I mean, extremely detrimental to this planet and to the people who live on it and to the beings who live on it, because we aren't alone on this planet, guys. Amy, even in the most toxic, excuse me, that's a dyslexic thing. My eyes just did 3 lines at the same time. I apologize, Amy. Even in the most basic sense, at Area 51, they were able to make a toxic chemical burn pit, exempt from the EPA and environmental laws. Yep. I remember reading about something about that. 90s, I think. If I remember correctly. Anyway, So the kind of things I agree with, um, pretty important. Pretty important indeed. Take a look at what's happening, folks. Don't just let it go and with a blind eye. That term is not the right term, but you get my point. This is a big deal. Pay attention to what is happening. Amy says, yes, the 90s, and they never really stopped. No, they haven't. There's so many things that are not being, that are exempt, let's just say. This is huge. This is really, really huge. Pay attention. Don't allow 700 quote unquote whistleblowers and their information to be thrown aside. And I mean, granted, there might be folks who are doing, not doing, but they may be like generals, and they may be uh, the Army, different sections of Army. They may be different sections of Black Ops, Marines, Navy, Air Force, whatever it is that they're part of. Have they become mercenary now? I mean, are they part of this deep, extremely deep, hidden government that has no oversight, has no nothing to be able to say, hey, let's rein this in? There needs to be oversight on a lot of this. And this is something that I will fight for. This is a big freaking deal. Whether it revolves around ET information and reverse engineering or not, the fact that people are being and have been for over 80 years, since it's funny because Greer talked about 1933. Well, the book that I read, there was documentation in that book from 1932. Now, I've been saying for years, since the 30s, everybody was saying, no, it's since the 40s and 50s. Bullshit. This shit's been going on since the early 30s. It's a big deal, folks. The deep government that has no oversight, they've got free range to do whatever in many aspects, that needs to be reined in. This idea of our planet always being in danger, the threat narrative of ETs coming in and taking over everything, and oh my God, it's this or it's bullshit. I'm an ET abductee. There are things I will state outright. There are things that I don't agree with regarding the ETs and what they've done to me and others, because I've experienced the good, I've experienced the bad, and I've experienced the really bad. They're horrific. I've experienced a whole gambit of stuff. And I completely and utterly disagree with Stephen Greer when he talks about, oh, the ETs are, he doesn't call them benevolent. I can't remember the term he uses, But essentially, it's like he's classifying them as harmless and as benevolent, and they're not going to hurt anybody. Bullshit. But I'm also not into the threat narrative. The threat narrative is crap. That's a lie that everybody is being fed. Don't fall for the freaking lie. With the threat narrative, and don't fall for the lie that the ETs are going to, they're all benevolent. Bullshit. So it's pay attention. There's just, and I've said this repeatedly publicly, I've said this repeatedly in writing so many times, it's not even funny. There are, and Hollow, I'll answer your question in a minute. There are humans who are good. There are humans who are detrimental, and there are humans who are outright monsters. The same for humans goes for ETs. There's good, there's bad, there's neutral ETs. And I've met all three. All three, many different races. Not all ETs are bad ETs. Just like not all humans are bad. Be very, very careful with who you listen to. Do your research. I've been talking too long, nonstop without a break. Be very careful who you listen to. Do your research. Look into these people. Make the realization. It's just like one of the reasons why I no longer follow or pay much attention to Linda Moulton Howe anymore. There's too many people that I know that have, we're not just talking one or two people. There's a number of people that I know that have gone to give her information in the last many years, and it's like she's not doing any of her research anymore. That's not okay. She used to be a quality individual, just like Greer used to be a quality individual. They're no longer a quality individual anymore. So be careful who you. Anyway, so like I said, be very, very careful who you follow. Be very careful where their information is coming from. Are they researching their information? Really? Are they really researching it? Or are they just doing it to get clicks, likes, follows, subscribes, money? Are they money grabbers? I've done a lot of work, a lot of energy work, and a lot of psychic work. I now have a Amazon page to where if I have somebody who says, hey, I want to give you money, I wanted this or that, I don't do the money thing. Do you want to do something for me? Go to the link that I send and buy me a treat, a hand soap, or my favorite hand soap, or for example, somebody sent me this wall hanging for a thank you for teaching them, actually sitting down and teaching them. They came into my home and we had 4 or 5 hours or something along those lines, where we had basically a class. And I worked with psychic and energy and mediumship, and there were a number of things. And that was one of the ways that they, along with a couple of other things that they sent me. So that's what I do. I'm not going for money's nice, but I could do the buy me a coffee, do this, do that. And I don't have enough clicks or likes or anything like that for doing money via YouTube and I do not and will not go into, not Twitter, TikTok. I will not go into TikTok and go the money route that way. For a wide variety of reasons, mostly because it's an unsafe, unsecure site, and it's dangerous. It's a dangerous site because of another country. So I refuse to do that. It's a danger to myself, and it's a danger to other people. So it's not worth it. Okay, hollow. Different sides of Earth could be different. Curious. Different sides of Earth could be different. Yes. Drew, correct. Any its own entity. Hollow, 100%. Yay. Amy, ETs are like people in that way. Every kind of shade and motivations we can't even imagine. Yes. This Drew, deception. Yeah, very much so. Amy, Linda Moulton, how? She puts cover art to video games on her paid site and calls them genuine ET photos. When called out, she cites her credentials. Yeah, I'm not enthusiastic about her anymore. She's done some really super sketchy things, and it's just like Greer. But I will say there are many points that Greer has made that I do agree with, that this government situation and this deep ops needs to be dealt with in a very, very specific way. And I think that they've got a very good list. Here's the other side of this. They've got 90 attorneys globally. Do you know how difficult it is to get 5 attorneys to get together to do anything? I used to know that one really well. And this is all, supposedly it's all pro bono. So, like I said, this is a really big deal. Pay attention, read up, do your research. If you can't get behind anything else, get behind this. This is a big deal. We need to make this go from person to person to person, word of mouth, and go, look, this is the research. Look up this article. Look up the FOIA requests that have been done and received, and people are posting the information. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because that's provability of different factors. Do your research, folks. Pay attention. Granted, there were a number of things that were discussed last night. One of them, and I don't mind open conversations and discussions. I don't even mind having, combative is not the word I was looking for, where somebody's saying, I'm not trying to be a bitch about this, or I'm not trying to be this way about this, but I've got a question, or I've got this, or be blunt. Ask your question. Be blunt. Make a statement. Be blunt. It's how you view things. Don't yell and scream at me, though. I will not take. I'm not. That's. I'm not. I'm done. I won't take it. That's bullshit behavior. And constantly trying to talk over to people. Excuse me. That's not okay either. So, be real careful. Follow what's taking place. Follow what's going on. Get involved. Get involved. There are a lot of other things that people are becoming up in arms over, and a lot of it rightly so. This, the attitude of none of it matters. Why do you think we've continued to have 80 years? Hang on a minute. Speaking of which, and promote again, because here goes the throat. Why do you think we have had 80 years worth of silence and nobody's done anything about this? Not only because supposedly the public didn't know about it, but because those who did either didn't give a shit enough, or there's an attitude and arrogance that it doesn't mean anything to them. I'm going to live my own little life. I'm appreciative for this company who makes these. It's the only cough drops I can actually do. I don't know if you can hear the birds. It's pretty cool. Anyway. True. Drew says either that or they were threatened, Nikki. Very true. So here's the thing. If you stay in your own little world, your larger environment around you and the planet you live on could have dire consequences because you're not taking action. It's kind of a big deal. And as Drew said, maybe they were threatened. Well, that goes right back into intimidation, harassment, murders, all the things that are happening to individuals who need to be protected, who come forward. No matter what it is that they've witnessed, whether they can prove that they've seen these items because of documentation. These projects are black projects, and they can't gain access to the documentation for whatever reason. But it's traumatized them, but they can document that they were there. They can document through the paperwork that this was where it was at this time of the day, on this month, this day, this year, blah, blah, blah. Telling me, or any experiencer, that none of that matters, what they've witnessed, what they've experienced, none of it matters. Okay, that's your take on it. I have a different take. Find a way to protect them. If they're being threatened, their lives are being threatened, or maybe even a family member was murdered to prove a point to them. I take issue with that, as should everyone else. They need to be protected. There are ways that these individuals can kill, which will look like health issues. There are ways that they can kill where it looks like an auto accident. I had somebody once tell me, government person, once tell me that all that has to be done is if you bump a vehicle in a very specific way on an inexperienced driver. And what I mean by inexperienced is somebody who is not a professional regarding, for example, like a stunt driver or a high ranking military officer who has been trained in how to get themselves out of a potential dangerous car bump. If you take an unsuspecting individual and bump their car very specific, this is what I was told, and bump their car a very specific way, it causes an instant trigger reaction. And the person, even if they've been driving for 40 or 50 years, they can't get themselves out of it. And it causes a major accident, enough to kill the individual. I was told that kind of shit happens quite often. In order to make things look like an accident. One would never know. There are medical ways that they've talked about with me about how murders were committed, how agents and government and black ops, specific kind of black ops, kill. It's frightening. You look at public situations like with the Russian gentleman and his daughter who were walking in, high profile figure. Happened in England a number of years ago, if I remember correctly. Very public situation. They had opened some kind of poison toxin was put on their doorknob. It was a hit. It was a very high profile hit. And it made both of them sick because they each touched the doorknob. And if I remember right, it started out to where they shut down because when they realized it was a toxin, when the hospital and the two different governments recognized that it was a poison, they shut down the block, if I remember correctly, of where this house was. I mean, there were all different sorts of ways, and now you've got weapons. I want to call them radar weapons. I can't think of what they're called, but it's a form of a weapon, a direct energy weapon, and they're smaller now than what they were even 10 years ago. That's talked about openly. Scalar weapons, yes. Amy says scalar weapons. So it's talked about openly about how those can harm people. They had instances at the White House happening. It wasn't the History Channel. It was another channel. I can't remember who it was that talked about it. A major news company talked about it. I just don't remember who at the second. But they talked about the fact of how they knew that it was a direct energy weapon of some kind that had been aimed at people who were coming out of the back of the building to their vehicles. And three or four of them had gotten hit and were unexpectedly ill. I mean, like really fast. And personally, when I first heard this, I thought, well, somebody's testing a weapon. And then later on in the show, they talked about that very thing. The possibility of it being a test run on a weapon. That's frightening shit. That was on our government's property. I mean, like major capital of the country. I mean, hello. Was a big freaking deal. That's frightening shit. So, and I remember from the 1990s, this woman who had come out to talk about something, and she was in her home and she knew she got hit with a direct energy weapon. Only it took her a number of years to die from it. And it took her a number of years to figure out exactly what was done to her. And she talked about it publicly and openly. I mean, very. So there's documented things. I mean, her medical records, she eventually died. But her medical records were open. She made it to where her medical records were open. She made it to where she talked about this. She talked about what her knowledge was. I mean, just everything. And then you've got 5-6 years ago where this was talked about, and then it was on the back of the I remember it being the White House. I remember the I won't call it a documentary, but they talked about the show talked about it was individuals coming out of the back of the White House. They were going to their vehicles, and then they talked about how in other countries, the same kind of situation was happening to people walking out of, if I remember correctly, it was they were walking out of different embassies, and they were hit with the same kind of thing. Very frightening what can be done. That's the kind of shit that needs to stop. That's the kind of shit that needs oversight. Testing energy weapons, that's hardcore. That's frightening crap. Seriously, look into this stuff. We're not just dealing with open government stuff. You're dealing with deep, dark, nasty, gnarly viperous, vicious, wicked, very detrimental things. And if they're doing this kind of shit, not if, but the fact that it is being done and it's been going on for 80 years, it's time to make that shit stop. Take a stand. Pay attention, research. And that's pretty much all I got to say on that right now. Anyway, look into premium nutrition for their products. Oh God, I don't have my glasses. Is it Bionutrition and Berberine? And then it's called My Community for the 17 species mushroom blend. Anyway, take really good care. I hope this was good information for you. And folks, if you have a difference of opinion with what I talked about, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. And if you are one of those people that are not capable of agreeing to disagree, that's fine too. But I'm not going to tolerate BS behavior. So just be aware of that. You can tell me I don't agree with you. That's fine. I don't expect you to. I don't usually stand up a lot regarding politics and different things. I got trained not to early on because I had grandparents and parents who yelled and screamed at each other over it. And I hated that. And I do mean the word hate. I hated that. It was not fun to be around, growing up around that. As much as I love my family, that was something that I was like, nope. So it's fine you disagreeing, but don't yell and scream at me. I will not. I won't put up with it. But I will say again and again and again, do your research. It is important. This is important. Lives are important. And if you do not believe that life is important and that other people's lives are important, wow, do you have some serious problems. That is a mentality that's a really detrimental mentality to have. Anyway, take very good care. On a positive note, get out and enjoy some sunshine if you can. Find things that create happiness. Find scent that creates happiness. Work on energy. Work on clearing. Work on grounding. Grounding is always very important. One of the ways to ground is to be outside and be in the fresh air and be with the animals and birds and plant your feet on the ground. Anyway, on that note, because this was a very heavy subject today, I hope you have a very good weekend. And to the fathers out there, I hope you have a good Father's Day weekend. Take good care of yourselves. Adios. Bye-bye, guys.